Hey, hey, Disney fans, planners, and reluctant visitors. I'm Becky, and this is TouringPlans Teaches. This week, we've got a special episode where we're going to cover a touring strategy for Mickey's not-so-scary Halloween party. This is a special party in the Magic Kingdom that runs from about the middle of August through the end of October to help you celebrate Halloween. Now, a lot of the party dates are already sold out, and we have people asking us how they can take advantage of this party to ride some rides with low wait times, but also see a lot of the entertainment. Why would you want to see that entertainment? Well, we've got the return of the first fully staffed parade at Disney World since the pandemic, so that Boo to You parade is something pretty special. They've also added a big, and I mean giant, Jack Skellington puppet during the fireworks show for this party as well. You can also trick or treat in Disney World, so it's something pretty special. Of course, it's a little expensive, so we want to help you make the most of your money by taking advantage of all the time you can to do everything that this party has to offer. Let's start off by going over all of the basics for this party before we get into our strategy for how you're going to approach your night in the Magic Kingdom. First, we're going to talk about party dates. So we talked a few episodes back about how you want to visit Magic Kingdom when there is a party at Magic Kingdom. That's because on those non-party dates, the crowds really descend on Magic Kingdom because everybody wants those longer park hours. When you look at these party dates, you can see why that's the case. If we start sort of our clock on the 29th of September and go through the end of October, we have 33 days there, and 20 of them have parties. So something like 60% of the time there's going to be a party at Magic Kingdom and it's going to close early. That means all the people that aren't going to the party want to visit the Magic Kingdom on those 40% of days where there's not a party. So there are going to be huge crowds of people. And if we look specifically right here in the middle of October, we have parties on the 10th, 11th, 13th, and 14th. So October 12th is the day to not go to the Magic Kingdom. It's going to be really, really crowded. But if you do want to go to a party or you want to visit Magic Kingdom on a day there's a party, these are the days to do that. Now, what time is the party? Mickey's Not So Scary Party starts at 7 p.m. every time it's offered, and it always goes through midnight, so you've got about 5 hours. But your party ticket lets you get into the Magic Kingdom as early as 4 p.m., even if you don't have a regular park ticket for that day. So if you're looking at a party ticket that's something like $160, the price varies based on the date. $160 for 5 hours is a lot of money. If you spread that out over 8 hours, you're only talking about $20 an hour, so it can be a little bit more reasonable and you'll get to accomplish a lot. What are some of the things you can do? This is the nightly entertainment schedule of these special things that are offered only during the Halloween party. First is the Not So Spooky Spectacular. This is the fireworks show, and it only happens once per night, and that's always going to be at 10:15 p.m. We'll talk about this more when we go through our strategy, but this is something you want to line up early for, even though that means part of your party is just going to be waiting and trying to get the best spot for this. You also have two parade options, one at 9:15 p.m. and one at 11:15 p.m. The 9:15 is going to be more crowded. By 11:15, some people have already headed home, even though they've paid for those 5 hours of the party. But you can go to either one and you'll be able to find spots. Next, we have the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular. Lots of spectaculars at this party. This is the Hocus Pocus show in front of Cinderella Castle, and it's offered 3 or 4 times per night. During October, they add a 4th show sort of at the beginning of the party. The midnight show is almost always empty because people assume the party is over and they've already filtered out of the park. And then finally you have the Cadaver Dans. This is a special Halloween version of the Dapper Dans. They dressed up like cadavers and they sing spooky songs. You can see them in Frontierland, and they have several shows throughout the night. So in our strategy I'll recommend a specific one, but that's just because of how it fits into the night. You can really catch them at any. This is a do not miss part of the party. Another big draw of the Halloween party is character meet and greets. You can meet characters during these parties that you'll never be able to meet otherwise at the Magic Kingdom. Several of these are very hot tickets. People come to these parties just to meet these characters. Those specifically would be Elvis Stitch, so it's Stitch dressed up as Elvis for Halloween. Jack and Sally, and Pooh and his friends. If you're wanting to meet any of these characters, you're going to have to dedicate a significant portion of your night to the effort. For example, during one specific party earlier in August, our in-parks reporter Chrissy went to meet Elvis Stitch. She got in line at 6:42 p.m., so that's before the party officially starts, and she didn't get to meet Stitch until 8:57 p.m. That's over 2 hours of waiting for one photo op with Elvis Stitch. Now, why is it so long? One is demand. Lots of people want to meet these special characters, get their autographs, pictures with them. The second is staffing shortages. So instead of being able to swap out Elvis Stitch when they need to, Elvis Stitch has to take long breaks. So in the time that Chrissy was waiting from 6:42 to 8:57, Stitch took 2 8-minute breaks and one 39-minute break. And so the line was just sitting there for all of that almost 40 minutes. That can be pretty frustrating. So if you're wanting to meet one of these characters, we really recommend getting in line around 6 p.m. And so you're going to be waiting about an hour before they even come out, but you'll miss some of those longer breaks because you'll be able to meet them before they have to take those. So any one of these three is going to take you a large amount of time. However, there is one good spot for very quick character meet and greets, and that's at Mad Tea Party. Because at Mad Tea Party, there are 2 different spots you can meet characters in one location, and they're constantly rotating through about 5 different characters. So you're not hitting those same breaks. For example, you could see the Queen of Hearts at Mad Tea Party, sort of more on one edge, and then closer to Winnie the Pooh, you'll have Alice and the Mad Hatter at exactly the same time. So you're avoiding the higher demand, and you're avoiding those longer breaks where the line isn't moving at all. So if you want to see some of those more unique characters, then Mad Tea Party is a good place to do that. Another activity you can do during the party is trick-or-treating. So this is where you go to various locations throughout the park, you have a bag, they give you treats, you get to bring them home. You can do allergy-friendly treats, so those are their own separate treats, or the regular variety, but you're going to be going to the same locations. Here's our tips for trick-or-treating. You want to wait until later in the party. For some reason, everyone wants to trick-or-treat right at the beginning, so lines are really long for the candy early in the night. But if you do that, you're going to have to haul all that candy around all night. That's a bummer. And spoiler alert, Disney never runs out of candy. So by waiting until 10 p.m. or later, you're not going to be out any candy, and you're not going to have to spend any time in the lines. So our suggestion, don't get in the trick-or-treat lines until after 10 p.m. Then, you also don't want to have to walk a lot between all of these different trick-or-treating locations. So really the best spot where you're going to get the most candy with the least amount of walking is in Tomorrowland. Specifically, Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor is the best place to get your candy. It has 2 treat locations just within one spot, and it's got a little fun show in the middle. So you get treats on the way in, fun show, treats on the way out. Plus, you're set up to also hit Carousel of Progress and Cosmic Rays, which have their own treat locations, so you can do all 3 of those without too much walking. So Tomorrowland for trick-or-treats, easy to remember. Where do you want to avoid? You don't want to trick-or-treat at Pinocchio Village House or at the Country Bear Jamboree. These both have really, really long lines that they make you walk through, so even if they're not backed up, you're having to walk a lot just to get this one single treat location. So you can go to other spots, just try to avoid these 2 unless you just really, really, really have to go to every trick-or-treating spot. One final note before we get to our strategy. During things like extended evening hours or early entry, DAS isn't available. This is the Disability Access Service program. So if you're eligible, DAS is available during these parties. This is a really, really big perk because you can use DAS to avoid waiting in the longer lines. You can use it at attractions or at character meet and greets. So my suggestion, if you have DAS, during the party is to use it for those long character meet and greet lines, like Stitch, Jack and Sally, or Pooh and his friends. Because attractions, as we're going to see later, don't have long wait times during the party. There's almost no reason to use DAS for attractions during the party. Instead, let DAS do the waiting for you for those characters, while you stand in the low standby lines for the attractions. Now we've finally laid all of our foundation and we're going to get to the good stuff. We're going to talk about the strategy for your party night. It's really key here to get into the Magic Kingdom as early as you can. So we're going to take that pre-party time and use it to our advantage by riding lots of rides with low wait times. And they are low wait times, even though regular day guests could still be in the park up until 6 p.m. So from 4 to 6, you're going to be overlapping with some of those day guests. But realistically, if they've been there all day anyway, their crowd levels have been so low that they've done everything they need to do in the Magic Kingdom by about 4 o'clock anyway. So we're seeing wait times drop significantly in sort of the late afternoon of these party days. So we're going to use that to ride rides. And we're actually going to continue riding rides for about an hour and a half into the party. This lets us finish almost all of the headliners across the park with really low wait times, but it still gives us a lot of time to do the party things as well. We're just avoiding the crowds at the trick-or-treating locations, and we're waiting until some of the entertainment starts up anyway. So from 4 to 8:30, we're going to be doing attractions and taking advantage of everything the Magic Kingdom has to offer since we paid to be there. Then from 8:30 to 10:30, we're going to pivot and we're going to watch a lot of that entertainment. We can see the Cadaver Dance, we can watch the Boo to You parade, and we can see the fireworks spectacular in front of Cinderella's castle. Now, this does include quite a bit of time of waiting for your spot, and that's on purpose because you do want to get good viewing locations for the parade and the fireworks. Then after fireworks is when we go into really party mode. We're going to go get our candy. You can go line up for some characters at this time. So we have about an hour and a half of unstructured party time. And then at midnight is when we're going to catch the last Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular. It's going to be really empty, and it's going to last a little bit after midnight, so we get to take advantage of even more time after the party has technically ended. Plus, our transportation home at that point isn't going to be as crowded either. So let's go step by step through this strategy and work our way around the map of the Magic Kingdom so you can see what this looks like on a practical basis. So pre-party, we get to Magic Kingdom, we get our party wristbands, which gives us access to the party later in the evening, and we're going to start doing attractions. The first thing I suggest doing is going to Jungle Cruise. Now this puts you at Jungle Cruise right around 4 p.m., which on a normal Magic Kingdom day would be a terrible, terrible idea. You'd probably be waiting an hour or more for this ride. But when you get to Jungle Cruise, you'll probably see a posted wait time of something like 30 to 40 minutes. Thankfully, that posted wait time is wildly inaccurate. We've been seeing actual wait times around this 4 p.m. time on these party days of something like 10 to 20 minutes, which is crazy for Jungle Cruise. So we're going to start there at Jungle Cruise. Then we're going to make our way over to Pirates of the Caribbean. That's our second stop. And when we're there, it'll probably have something like a 10-minute posted wait, but it should be close to a walk-on. And Pirates will have much higher wait times later in the night because people like doing it later at night. It's kind of spooky. It fits in with the party. So we're going to be smart and get it out of the way here in the late afternoon. Then we want to hit the two mountains. On the furthest left side of the park, we're going to do Splash Mountain and Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Splash Mountain will probably also have a 30 or 40 minute posted wait. A lot of that's because Disney's trying to encourage day guests to not get on it at this point. They want them to start going out of the park. Realistically, we've seen average actual waits around this time, so just before 5 o'clock, of 5 minutes. So you should be able to walk through the line and almost get right on the ride, especially if it's a cooler day as we move into the fall. Then you'll go to Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, which probably has a 20-minute posted wait, but should be something like a 10-minute wait instead. So from 4 to 6, we've done at least these 4 attractions, and they all have pretty minimal waits when you compare them to a regular park day. Then at 6 p.m., we still have an hour before the party starts. This is a good time to eat if you want to do that, but ideally you've sort of loaded up on your food right before you came to the Magic Kingdom, and you can eat some candy later at night to keep you going. So if you're not eating, this is when you need to get in line for characters if you want to see Elvis Stitch, Jack and Sally, or Pooh and his friends. Or you can take advantage of this time by doing more attractions, hooray! So from 6 to 7 p.m., we're going to try to accomplish Haunted Mansion and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Haunted Mansion is another one of the attractions its wait time is going to increase throughout the evening because people want to do the spooky attraction during the spooky party. So you're going to try to do it before the party actually starts. Around 6 p.m., Haunted Mansion should have about a 25-minute posted wait, but really your wait should be something like 5 to 10 minutes. Then you'll go to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and this is where things could get a little tricky. It depends on how many people are trying to ride this right before the party starts. But we've been seeing that while at around 6:30 p.m. it has something like a 60-minute posted wait, usually, our actual timed waits have been closer to 20 minutes. So if you only have to wait 20 minutes for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, that's a pretty big win, and you should try to do that. So we should be able to get Haunted Mansion and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train done before the party actually starts. So the party hasn't even started yet. We've done 6 attractions that have usually pretty high wait times. We're already on a roll. This is good news. Then the party officially starts, and this is where everyone tends to scurry to trick-or-treating locations right as they start, or they're in line for characters. So we're going to take advantage of everyone being in those lines, and we're going to ride a few more attractions, and these are going to be our last 3 attractions of the night. We're going to start at Buzz Lightyear, which should have a very minimal posted wait and should actually be a walk-on. Then we're going to ride the Tomorrowland PeopleMover. The reasons for this are twofold. One, Space Mountain wait times should be decreasing, so we're trying to wait that out a little bit. And then secondly, PeopleMover's a great spot to sort of take in the ambiance of the party. You get to ride around, it's comfortable, it's relaxing, and you get to see the various things that are happening in Tomorrowland. You can point and laugh at all the people waiting for Elvis Stitch, if that's your thing. Then after you get off PeopleMover, you're going to go to Space Mountain. It'll probably have something like a 40-minute posted wait at this point, but your wait should be closer to 20 minutes. So those 3 should take us an hour and a half, or ideally less, and then it'll be just about 8:30, and we'll be ready to pivot from riding attractions to enjoying the party. To do that, we're going to make our way across the park and back over into Frontierland. Your goal is to make it to the Cadaver Dans by 8:30 because that's when their performance is. If you miss that, I suggest catching their last performance at 10:30 p.m. right after the fireworks. But we're going to say that you got lucky and you made it to the Cadaver Dans. You watch them perform and then you grab a spot for the parade. The parade starts at 9:15. A lot of people are going to want to watch this parade from Main Street, so you should have a better chance of getting a good spot if you stay in Frontierland. So that's your goal, is to stay in Frontierland and to get spots for the parade. You want a good view of street level because there are a lot of street performers, but if you end up a layer or 2 back behind some people, you'll still be able to see all the floats because those are pretty elevated. So don't despair too much if you're not on the very front row. Then as soon as that parade's over, you're going to make your way over to Main Street and the Hub, and you want to get as front and centered as possible for the Not So Spooky Spectacular. That's because during this fireworks show, there's a brand new puppet of Jack Skellington. He's huge, he's really cool, people love the videos of him, super popular, so the best view you're going to get is front and center, and you're going to have to wait for it. But we think it's worth it, and so we suggest just going there right after the parade. Once that is over, you're going into party mode, and we've left some unstructured time for you to do trick-or-treating, to go see some characters, and just enjoy the party. So on this map, I've marked those trick-or-treating locations that we talked about earlier, so Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor, the Carousel of Progress, and Cosmic Rays. That's 4 treat locations, all really close together. And once you hit Cosmic Rays, you're really close to that good character spot where you have the Queen of Hearts, Alice, Mad Hatter, etc. right by the Mad Tea Party. So that gets you a lot of treats and characters all in one location. Then you're set up to catch the last showing of the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular to end your night. So that's going to start at midnight. You'll get to watch it from the Hub, and then you'll make your way out of the park after having a very busy and hopefully fulfilling 8 hours in Magic Kingdom. So now you have all of the information you need to take advantage of that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party and have a really fun night in the Magic Kingdom. We'll be back in a couple of months with a similar strategy for Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. You're going to see similar crowd patterns, so you're going to avoid the non-party days at Magic Kingdom again, but there's different entertainment options and things you can do throughout the park, and so you'll need a new strategy for that one as well. Thanks for joining us.